Kegel.
Yo, what's happening? What's going on, everyone? It's me, Yemmy the Ferret. We're here live. That's right, we're here live right now on Twitch. That's right. What is up? We got people in the chat. Amazing. How's it going? That's supposed to fade out. I apologize. Adhesive Wombat behind the music, folks. Great musical artist, I suppose. Very nice person. Let me use their songs for the intro to the original to their podcast. I didn't ask for allowance to do his other songs, but I'm sure they're fine with it. Very jamming songs they make. Definitely video gamey. You know what I'm saying? So hey, it's been like a full year since we've done a live podcast. That's right, and today I got everything here for you. Look at all these fellows here. We're gonna finish up the 2022 streaming tier list. We got news. And of course, we got the Ferret Awards, which is what we're going to do first today, because I was working for hours and hours getting these videos ready for the announcements here. That is what we're going to do first, obviously. But thank you everyone for coming by. Just to say everyone's name here. We got the Squid himself, Squid Daddy. We got General Kenobi. We got Crazy Infamous. And that's it for right now. But I'm sure more people will come around. I am very excited. I'm very happy with how all these turned out. So without further ado, let's get into the first category of the day. Hold on, let me switch over to the right screen here. There we go. Oop, I'm facing the wrong way. Okay. All right. And the first category that we're going to be introducing here today is Best Performance. Let's go!
Here are the nominees for Best Performance. Christopher Judge, Kratos. Jenny Tirado, Rose. Murtaugh, The Stray. Ashley Birch, Aloy. Steve Blum, Neon White.
All right. And the winner is by a country mile, Christopher Judge, who played Kratos. The runner-up, of course, being Ashley Birch, who played Aloy. I mean, there was a lot of performances this year that I really, really enjoyed. Obviously, Kratos. I mean, yeah. Obviously, Kratos was the big man on campus. He definitely put on the best performance here. Ashley Birch. I mean, they did such a better job with her character in the second game. I just wish that it wasn't so long. We had 12 people voting, so 12 lucky people voted, including myself. I voted very early on. I was the first person to cast ballots so that my votes wouldn't sway anything. That's why I do my ballot first. I mean, look, Rose was good this year. I thought that she did a good job. Murtaugh is obviously a cat, and I was kind of like, oh, it might be a sneaky winner there, but No, was not. And then also Steve Blum. I mean, I've been re-going through some Neon White, and he just does a really, really great job with the character. I mean, everyone does a good job in that game, but yes, congratulations to Christopher Judge. Very, very good performance there. Okay, let's move on to the second award here. Hold on, give me a second. I gotta find it. Ah, yes. It is Best Soundtrack. Let's go.
Here are your nominees for Best Soundtrack: God of War Ragnarok, Elden Ring, Stray, Horizon Forbidden West, Cult of the Lamb.
All right, and the winner was... Oops. The winner was God of War Ragnarok. That's right, God of War Ragnarok once again takes a dub here. I mean, who doesn't like God of War Ragnarok's God of War Ragnarok's soundtrack? I think they just the main title soundtrack itself is just it's so moving, you know. Elden Rings was good. Yes, I really enjoyed Elden Rings. I wasn't a big like fan of Stray's soundtrack. Obviously, all these categories are fan submitted and fan voted. So if something didn't show up that you think should show up next year, you'll have to go with the third annual and try and get some stuff cast. Horizon Forbidden West, great soundtrack. I think PlayStation always is a great soundtrack for their games. And then Cult of the Lamb was a sneaky one for me. I thought that Cult of the Lamb would maybe be like a sneaky second place because I love that soundtrack. It's so bopping, you know. Always enjoy the Cult of the Lamb while playing that game, the soundtrack for that. But yeah, God of War Ragnarok runner-up is Elden Ring. Obviously, you know, I think the right one won it, but I am just one mere ferret. Okay, let's move on to the Still Playing Award. Here we go.
Here are your nominees for the Still Playing Award: Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, Apex Legends, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Returnal, Counter-Strike Global Offensive.
I put Counter-Strike in there for Crazy Infamous, but apparently they wanted Left 4 Dead, so my apologies. My apologies. I should have put Left 4 Dead in there. And the winner was Fall Guys, of course, by a mile here. The runner-up was Returnal with 16% of the votes, but 75% of the votes went to Fall Guys. Obviously. I mean, who's not playing Fall Guys right now? Losers. That's who. Big L. Losers aren't playing Fall Guys right now. But I mean, I personally, this one, the only one that I inputted was the final one. Everything else was fan done. So I mean, I personally did not get back on Returnal this year. I barely played Pokemon Legends earlier this year. Apex Legends, I haven't played that in a couple years. It's fun, but I'm not willing to go back and play it or download it, you know. But Fall Guys, I mean, like I said, who isn't playing Fall Guys right now? You'd have to be crazy. You'd have to be the Joker, baby. Anyway, let's move on to the next one, which is the best DLC or update category. Here it is. Let's go.
Here are your nominees for Best DLC/Update: Cuphead, The Delicious Last Course, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Wave 1, 2, and 3 Booster Courses, Ollie Ollie World Finding the Flow Zone, Resident Evil Village Shadow of Rose, Overwatch 2.
Yeah, I think the real funny thing is that Overwatch 2 didn't get any votes. It's just one big update, and it's just gone. But yes, of course, Cuphead, the delicious last course, won it. Obviously, it was and probably will remain to be the best DLC that came out this year. Added a bunch of new bosses, a bunch of new levels, a bunch of new music, some unique things also, like Miss Chalice was put in there. She has a whole different move set, a whole new way to speedrun the game was introduced. Obviously, Cuphead was winning. I liked a lot of the Mario Kart 8 booster courses. I'm not saying that, they're not worth your time, but compared to the other DLC on this list, the Wave DLC can maybe wait a little bit. The one that I thought was going to win was going to be Resident Evil Shadow of Rose, just because that whole DLC was like a whole new spin on Resident Evil 8, had a bunch of new stuff going on. And then they also added all those new characters to the mercenary mode with the Shadow of Rose update. But that's, whatever. And then Finding the Flow Zone, that was a personal choice of mine. I really enjoyed that DLC. I thought it was fantastic. And yeah, Overwatch 2 got crushed in this. Sorry, maybe in the next category. Well, the next one that you're nominated in, which I don't think is for a while. All right. Let's move on to the best remaster and the best remaster / remake. Let's see, where is that? I should have ordered these from first to last. Here we are. No, that's DLC. Don't do that one. Best. What the heck? Where is it? Oh, here it is. All right. Hey, we're fine. Everything's fine.
Here are your nominees for Best Remaster or Remake. The Last of Us Part 1. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. Pac-Man World Repack. Klonoa Fantasy Reviere Series. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion.
All right. And the winner is, as you may have guessed, The Last of Us Part 1 took it home. Stanley Parable, surprisingly, a lot of votes. I was not expecting Stanley Parable to get so many votes, especially because with the Ultra Deluxe Edition, I don't even know exactly what's new with that one. But hey, I'm a man of the people. I put in what the people want. But yeah, The Last of Us Part 1, obviously it upgraded the graphics a lot. It updated the gameplay, gave it a lot of more... It gave it a lot more accessibility options. That's what I'm trying to say. It gave it a lot more accessibility options. So of course, I'm strongly believe that definitely should have taken the cake. Even though I haven't played it yet, I have watched a fair amount of gameplay. Surprising that Crisis Core didn't get any love. I guess the Final Fantasy fans did not come out. And also surprisingly, I thought Pac-Man Repack would be maybe a sneaky one, but it ended up being Klonoa being the sneaky one, getting in there with a few votes. All right, enough of the wishy-washy. Let's get on to a category that is centered around me, and that is the favorite game streamed by... That's right, Yemmy the Ferret. All right, let's see here. Here it is. Everything's fine.
Here are your nominees for the favorite game streamed by Yemmy the Ferret. Gears of War 4. Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. I Love You, Colonel Sanders, a finger-licking good dating simulator. Shadow of the Colossus, PS4. The Lord of the Rings, The Third Age.
All right. And this was actually a pretty divided one here. But Paper Mario, The Thousand-Year Door, of course, won it. I knew the Paper Mario fans would come out in hordes, and here we are. Me personally, the runner-up was the Lord of the Rings: The Third Age. That was personally my favorite game to revisit and replay this year on stream. I just had a lot of fun with it. It was Lord of the Rings, which was a childhood favorite of mine, next to Star Wars. So, obviously that in my heart, Lord of the Rings is the winner here. But good showing by everyone else. Everything else at least got one vote. Not much else to say, except it was a fun year. Let me just say it was a fun year of streaming. We still got one more stream to do tomorrow. We're gonna start whatever wins the vote, which seems to be Ghost of Tsushima. But it was a really fun year of streaming. We had good numbers this year. I was really happy about that. I'm not a numbers guy, obviously, but seeing people show up, talk in chat and stuff like that, always a fun time. Really enjoy talking with people and just playing games. And a lot of the games are games that I've already played, and I'm revisiting them, and I see them in a different light now, And there's other games it's the first time I'm playing them, and sometimes you get duds, that's just how it happens. But the new way that I've been doing streams this year has been so much better for, one, my mental health, and two, just for the streams in general. Because if I get stuck on a game that I don't like, or maybe I'm playing a game that I don't like, we just don't continue it anymore, and we just move on to the next thing. It happened during the Bunger month. It happened during our Halloween streams. So no more Final Fantasy VII remakes happening. And even when I don't enjoy a game like Oogie Boogie, if it's playable, I'll at least go through it. But there's some games that I just get so frustrated with, I just want to quit. And if we don't make progress, that's another big thing too, as to why I stop these days. But I mean, we streamed a lot of games this year. It was over 50 games this year. I think it was close to 70. I'd have to go through and count them, but I think it was really close to 70 games streamed this year. If not 70, maybe 65. I know we beat last year's record of 50 by a lot. So yeah, favorite game streamed goes to Paper Mario. Let's see. Let's move on here. So the next category. Best action. So let me describe some of these a little bit more, just so you kind of know what we're going for here. So best action pretty much just means like the best game, like the best, like in-game action. Whether it be shooting or slicing with a sword or whatever. So let's go ahead and jump into best action. Here are your nominees for best action. Elden Ring, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge, God of War Ragnarok, Neon White, Horizon Forbidden West. And the award goes to my couch when Squid Daddy is over. No, of course it went to Elden Ring. What else would be comparable on here? Elden Ring has so many different weapons to use, so many different gameplay styles, so many different magics and stuff like that. I mean, come on. Like, there's no real contest here. I liked God of War Ragnarok's combat, don't get me wrong. It really got good after the halfway point in the game. Truly. But, yeah, Elden Ring definitely was a step above. Personally, would have liked to see Neon White win this. I thought that the combat in that was very fun. The card battling system where you got different guns and cards and you use them to do special abilities and stuff like that. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles got blown out. No votes for TMNT, which was surprising to me because I thought that it would get a few votes here just because it's a return to the action that we once knew. And Horizon has a lot of systems going on, but I feel like the combat is a little bit iffy in that game. But yeah, best action. What can you say? It goes to Elden Ring. I would be surprised if it went to anything else, honestly. Oh, hold on. Let's switch over. Hold on. We got a raid coming in. Oh, it's not gonna do it, is it? Let's see if I can restart it here. Where are my alerts? Where are my alerts? Thank you, Callus, for the raid. I don't know why they're... I missed it. I didn't have it on I didn't have my alerts thing on the podcast screen. La-dee-dee-da-da. Alert box. Shoot. Cloudbot? No. Recent events? Yeah. Here we are. Redo that one. There we go. That's a good beat. Sussy cat. Sussy cat. Sussy cat. Sussy cat. Sussy cat. Sussy cat.
That's a good beat. Sussy cat.
Welcome in,
Sussy
Raiders.
cat. Sussy
How's it
cat.
going, Callus? Did
Sussy
you get
cat.
any more wins on Fortnite?
That's a good beat.
Welcome in, Muffin. Welcome in, Chameleon. Welcome in, Lukester. Welcome in, Callus, of course, the ringleader himself. How is everyone doing today? Hope you're all doing fantastic. You all are just in time for the next category here.
Here are your nominees.
Oops. Hold on. Don't do that yet. We got no more wins. That's too bad. But you know what did get a win today? One game that was nominated for the most unique experience during the Ferret Awards. Let's check that out. Where is it at on my thingy here? Here it is. And Lego.
Here are your nominees for the most unique experience. Stray, Cult of the Lamb, Neon White, Roller Drome, Card Shark.
And the winner is Stray with a resounding win here. Stray definitely was a unique experience. I don't know how fun it was, but it was definitely unique. Welcome in Slash and Gamer Chick Games. Hope you're both doing fantastic. Hope everyone's doing fantastic today. I'm not surprised that Stray won. Personally, I would not say that Stray was wholly unique. I mean, you couldn't even jump on your own, you know? Hey, thank you for the 10 bitteroonies and cheese.
Hello there.
Slash, appreciate that. Yo, what's up, Just Dash? How you doing today? Look, I get why Stray won. Obviously, you play as a cat. What is going on? Why is it just going over and over again? It's not supposed to be doing this. What is going on? Why is it doing this? Slash broke the stream. Oh, of course it stops as soon as I come over here. Slash broke the stream. Oh my gosh. Can I get a can someone ban Slash for me, please? Oh my gosh. All right, that I don't know if it's fixed or not. Go back here.
Here are your nominees for
All right,
the most unique experience.
we already heard this one. Thank you. Let me talk about some of the other games on here because
everywhere except your crop.
Because I personally feel like Cult of the Lamb should have won this one. I mean, it combined two genres that have never been combined before. Roguelite combined with the management sim stuff, where you're managing your cult. I felt like that was a very, very unique experience. Something that I had never really played before. I would say that, yeah, of course, the combat is a bit like Death's Door-y, where it's not like super fleshed out, but it was still really fun. Same thing with Roller Drome. I mean, that's a game where it's pretty much Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, except you're on roller skates and you're shooting people. I felt like that was also another really unique experience. Card Shark, of course. My input on here was Card Shark. That was a very fun game, kind of WarioWare-esque, where it's a very simple button presses, but it's a very unique concept of playing cards and trying to cheat at cards. And then Neon White, you know, I've already talked about before. But yeah, congratulations, Stray. Maybe I don't agree with it, but hey, this is a democracy, and you all voted, so there you go. Oh boy. Let's move on to the best audio design. So obviously this is for like sounds and stuff inside the game. Let's see who our nominees are.
Here are your nominees for Best Audio Design. Modern Warfare 2, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, Ali Ali World, The Callisto Protocol.
All right, and the winner is, by a very, very small margin, Modern Warfare 2, almost beaten out by Stray, but not quite. And you know me, I gotta agree with this one. Modern Warfare 2 has some very, very great sound design in there, from guns to reloading to ambiance, I guess you could say. Lots of good ambiance in there. Very very good job with the audio design there. Stray was good, with the audio. I thought the audio design in Stray was pretty good. Can't complain, especially when the cat is rubbing its nail or scratching its nails on things and purring and stuff like that. Very good job there. Horizon, once again, I thought that was going to be the sneaky winner because all the robot sounds and the weapon sounds, all that's different. It's a very big open world, lots of stuff going on there. And then Callisto Protocol, I actually got a vote here. One of the only things that I really thought that Callisto Protocol did well was its audio design and the graphics, of course. But audio design-wise, Callisto Protocol does a really fantastic job with that. And then Ali World, didn't get any votes, unfortunately. That was unfortunate. But yeah, I felt like Ali World, they really captured the essence of a skateboard hitting things, Anyway, let's move on to the next category here. Try and get through these a little bit faster here. The best game that left you speechless. So a game that had a jaw-dropping moment. A game that left you going, what? Stuff like that. So let's see. I gotta find it on my list here. Here it is. Left you speechless, Lego.
Here are the nominees for the best game that left you speechless. God of War Ragnarok, Stray, Cult of the Lamb, Trek to Yomi, A Plague Tale Requiem.
All right, winner was God of War Ragnarok, of course. Shrek? No. Yeah, God of War Ragnarok has several moments that kind of were like jaw-dropping. I won't get into specifics because there's people who probably haven't played the game yet, but there's a particular moment early on in the game where Kratos and Atreus are in like this little mine cart and they crash and they're getting out of the little wagon they're in, and Kratos just chops off the head of an ogre standing there. You think it's going to be a boss fight. You think he's about to pick up his stone tablet and start swinging it at you like in 2018's God of War. No, Kratos just chops his head off and moves on. My jaw was literally on the floor there, obviously. Stray, I don't know if there were like moments that I was speechless. Maybe the end of the game, but not really. Maybe the end of the game. Cult of the Lamb. I don't know if I was left speechless on that game. Trek to Yomi was my input here. I thought that game, just the visual flair and everything that you go through in the game was pretty good. And then A Plague Tale Requiem had some good moments. I haven't finished it yet though, so I could not vote for it myself, and none of you voted for it either. So oops. But yeah, congratulations to God of War Ragnarok. Kind of sweeping it right now a little bit, huh? Well, let's see. What about Best Action Adventure? Now, there is a distinction between action and action adventure. Action adventure is a game that has an open world that you go through with combat and stuff like that. So, I say best action goes to a game with the best combat system, whereas best action adventure goes to the best open world action game, right? So let's go ahead and see. Who won that one?
Here are your nominees for Best Action Adventure Game: Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, We Were Here Forever, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin.
All right, and you guessed it. This pie is looking like there's a piece cut out, but it mostly goes to Elden Ring, of course. The one ring to rule them all. How's it going, Happy Marie? How you doing today? God of War Ragnarok was a runner-up here, and no one else got any votes. I thought that We Were Here Forever was put into the wrong category, personally. I didn't want to argue that it shouldn't be there because it is fan-chosen, but We Were Here Forever doesn't have combat. It doesn't have an open world, right? It doesn't have open level design. It's a very straight-to-the-point kind of game, co-op game. Very fun, but not action-adventure, so I did not expect that to win at all. Kirby was my sleeper here. I was a bit of input on that for Kirby. I found that Kirby was just a really fun, open. The levels were pretty open. I felt like that was a pretty good one. But God of War Ragnarok, I think it doesn't win this only because it is still a pretty linear kind of game through corridors. There are open areas that you can explore, of course, but kick to the curb. Here you go. Stranger of Paradise, surprisingly really fun combat system and a nice little open world to explore. Story-wise, just kind of funny, But congratulations, Elden Ring. I think we all knew that one going into it. All right, next up, best visuals. So the best graphics and all that stuff. Let's go ahead and jump into that right meow. Have a good lurk, Chameleon.
Here are your nominees for Best Visuals: Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, Elden Ring, Cult of the Lamb, The Callisto Protocol.
All right. And the winner is God of War Ragnarok with a 58% vote there. In second place was Elden Ring. Third place was Callisto Protocol. Nothing else got votes there. I gotta disagree. God of War Ragnarok is not the most beautiful looking game this year. I mean, it was definitely Cult of the Lamb. Like, come on. What other game has that nice of a graphic style? If not Cult of the Lamb, Callisto Protocol. I mean, the graphics in that game are insane. Y'all voted wrong. I don't know what else to say here. Because Elden Ring is not the best. Is not the best looking game. God of War Ragnarok. It's a good game, but it's not the best visually. Horizon also. I mean, the detail. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. I missed the name. Thank you for the follow. Look, I mean, I'm just kind of playing around here, but obviously, congratulations to God of War, but I really felt strongly about Cult of the Lamb for this one. Cal still hasn't played Stranger of Paradise. For a person who's such a big fan of Team Ninja, very surprising. All right, let's jump over to the next category, which is best multiplayer. So this could be co-op, this can be PvP, this can be whatever. So let's see who won best multiplayer.
Here are your nominees for Best Multiplayer: Played Up, Modern Warfare 2, Splatoon 3, Gotham Knights, Ship of Fools.
All right, and the best multiplayer of the year went to Plate Up. It defeated the juggernaut that was Modern Warfare 2 and the lieutenant that was Splatoon 3. Plate Up won this category. Very surprising win, honestly. Plate Up is a very fun game, don't get me wrong, but best multiplayer, best co-op, I don't know. I guess Ship of Fools is maybe a little bit too new. Not as many people have played it yet. That's also a very fun one so far. Gotham Knights, I put that on there personally because I was like, it's a co-op game. It's not going to be nominated for anything else this year because, it was kind of like a basic 6 or 7 out of 10 game. Splatoon 3 had really fun multiplayer, but someone who said they were going to play it with me, Squiddy, never invited me after the first time we played, so there you go. Modern Warfare 2 is obviously my favorite multiplayer this year. It's not high art or anything like that, but it's been the most fun multiplayer game for me personally. All right, next up, best narrative. So the game with the best story, the best whatever. I mean, I'm pretty sure y'all can predict where this one's going to go, but we gotta run the video. I worked so hard on it.
Here are your nominees for Best Narrative: God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, High on Life, Card Shark, Ghostwire Tokyo.
Do I even need to show the graph? Do I even need to show the graph? Of course, God of War Ragnarok. Of course. Of course it is. Horizon, I thought, would have been a sneaky winner here because, like, that game is designed so well with the story and, like, how the side missions kind of... They feel like main missions even though they're labeled as side missions, you know? High on Life is, like, a newer one. You know, that one, you know... I think that it's written very smartly, and, you know, obviously if you don't like Justin Roiland, you might not like the writing in that one. Card Shark, I found that to be a very fun story. Ghostwire's on here twice because I misspelled it, and then for some reason, it didn't fix the problem. It just made 2 answers, so yeah, there's 2 on there. But it only got 1 vote combined anyway, so... You know, no one's ripping out their heartstrings for Ghostwire Tokyo, I suppose. But I found that story to be pretty good. I think the one place that Ghostwire Tokyo really, really stumbles is just the amount of shit you have to do. There's like 2,500 spirits to collect, and you get them in batches of like 25 to 50, and it just got really boring really fast. I loved the game, but could not keep me interested. But congratulations, God of War. A very good story. Yes, I agree. A very good story, very well written. A nice twist towards the end that you really can't see coming unless you're very astute or you've had it spoiled to you. And yeah, I mean the writing is just fantastic. I mean just the opening scene itself it sells you on the game so much. You know, Odin visiting with Thor. You know, just a really good opening and a really good sequence, and that just showcases how good the writing was. So, congratulations, God of War, you got another one. All right, best gameplay. So this is kind of similar to action, but this is more so like your you know, the gameplay as in like the moment by moment gameplay rather than just the combat systems. So let's go ahead and jump into best gameplay.
Here are your nominees for best gameplay: Overwatch 2, Bayonetta 3, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge, Neon White, Ollie Ollie World.
All right. And the winner is TMNT, Shredder's Revenge. There you go. Perfectly feels like an old arcade game while keeping things fresh, keeping things new. I think the main thing that I really loved about Shredder's Revenge were those freaking boss fights. Every single one felt different, you know. They weren't all just the same, you know, which really is really good. Overwatch 2, once again, on the list, but it did get some votes this time around. I just feel like Overwatch 2 is just so samey as Overwatch 1. It's kind of hard to, like, distinguish the two. Bayonetta 3 did not get to play that, so I have no thoughts. Ollie Ollie World, very good gameplay, very good moment-to-moment gameplay. And Neon White, unfortunately didn't get any votes, but that's probably the one that I would pick right now. Neon White just had a really fun gameplay. It really reminded me of like the old jump servers back in the Call of Duty days. But yeah, there you go. TMNT taking home a dub here. All right, we got 3 more, and of course, to start us off for our final 3 is best indie game. Let's see who won this one.
Here are your nominees for best indie: Played Up, Stray, Cult of the Lamb, Vampire Survivors, Trombone Champ.
All right. Cult of the Lamb takes it home for best indie game. You know it, you love it, you love to see it, you love to see it. Out of this list, yeah, that's definitely my pick on this list. Vampire Survivors, I started playing it too late in the year. Maybe if I had more time with it, I would grow to love it more. Stray, I mean, can we even say that it's an indie game with how good it looks and all that stuff? But it's still technically indie, made by Annapurna. It's good. I wouldn't say that Stray I mean, Stray might not even show up on the top 10 list this year. I don't know. I mean, I just didn't find it that intriguing. And Trombone Champ was a sneaky one on there. I thought that maybe would get a couple votes, but no, maybe not enough people played it, or maybe the meme ran its course earlier in the year. But congratulations, Call of the Lamb. Good work. You did it. Let's move on to the worst game of the year. What was the worst game this year? A lot of good contenders on this list. Very interested to see what you guys voted for. There is no big fanfare here, just simple slides because we don't give a shit about these games. Let's go.
Here are your nominees for the worst game of 2022. Super Mario Strikers Battle League. Dying Light 2. Babylon's Fall. Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. The Callisto Protocol.
Oh, it's not even on here. Hey, the winner was Super Mario Strikers. Super Mario Strikers Battle League. The most disappointing launch of any Nintendo game so far. Hardly any content. Even in the updates, they did not add enough. The armor system was bad. The gameplay was bad. It was all just bad, and I gotta agree. That game was poo-poo stinky. Lego Star Wars was my input, and I'll let you know that game made me very, very upset. Not only did they practically they literally just did like just like the major things from the prequels and the sequels. They did not flesh out every level like they did for the original trilogy, Essentially what they did is like prequels, they just did practically boss fights with maybe a few levels here or there. Sequels, same thing, couple of boss fights with a couple levels sprinkled in. The original trilogy, though, if you just play the original trilogy on the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga, you'll have a great time, and you'll be like, wow, this is amazing. I like all the effort they put into the game. They obviously did a good job with the graphics and stuff like that, but by golly, could they have just done a little bit more effort onto this shit, Like, the prequels are back. They're resurged. People like the prequels now, and they literally hardly did anything with them. You look at the Phantom Menace levels. The first level does not start until you get into the little submarine ship that the Nabooians give you. And that's the first level. There's so much that happens before that. And if you look at the original Lego Star Wars game that had both the prequels and the original trilogy in there, like those levels are designed so well, and they just do enough to kind of keep you going. That first level on the ship is just, it's like a classic. Everyone remembers that first level. And in the Skywalker Saga, what did they do? It's just an open area. You walk to the exit, that's it, and then you go to Naboo. It's like, wow, great job. Really hated that game, really did. I mean, not hate, but I really was disappointed with that game. But there was no other more disappointment of a game than Super Mario Strikers. Dying Light 2 came close for me. That's true. Dying Light 2 definitely came close for me. A very disappointing experience. Callisto Protocol, it was just bad. I don't know what to say about that I haven't said already. And Babylon's Fall is only on here because the game did not last a full year, and it was the worst rated Metacritic game. So I was like, you know what, might as well put it on there, see if people vote for it. But enough about that shit. Okay, enough about that shit. Let's move on to the game of the year as voted by the Ferret Nation. Game of the year, where is it? Hello. Best game. Here we go.
And finally, here are your nominees for the best game of 2022. Elden Ring. God of War Ragnarok. Neon White. Cult of the Lamb. Ali Ali World.
All right, and the winner is, of course, it's God of War Ragnarok, sweeping the awards this year. A lot of people showed up for God of War Ragnarok. What can you say? What can you do? Yeah, I mean, it's a very, very good game. Obviously deserves its place on here. Its only competition was, of course, Elden Ring, which won at the official Game Awards. But all we care about is the Ferret Awards. Let's be honest here. Other good ones to show up. I mean, this whole list is really good. You know, I mean, I'd expect all these games to be on the top 10 list. You know, Neon White, Call of the Lamb, Ollie Ollie World, 3 games that I thought were very, very exceptional this year. Very, very exceptional. You know, a lot of people forget, like, there's a lot of great indie games that come out, and they deserve to be nominated for Game of the Year, you know, not just Stray because it was a huge game during the year. No, like, there's a bunch of other games that come out. Like, we shouldn't, like, maybe there should be Best Indie, Best AAA, and then Best Combined at the Game Awards, you know, because there really are some games that came out that were indie this year that really went toe-to-toe with these other games, and you just don't see the Game Awards really recognizing them as much as you would want them to. But me personally, it doesn't matter. AAA, indie, they all end up on my list somewhere. And a lot of times, indie games beat out AAA games, you know. Just look at last year. Inscription won it all. And it was up against some tough competition from the AAA market. So what can you say? What can you do? Sometimes AAA games do win, like The Last of Us Part 2 and God of War 2018. But yeah, God of War Ragnarok winning Game of the Year for the fan vote this year. Congratulations! One more round of applause for God of War Ragnarok. I know they've gotten it a few times this episode, but here we go. All right, and that's the Ferret Awards. Thank you so much to everyone who voted in the Ferret Awards this year. We did not have more votes than last year. Last year we got 15. This year we got 12, and that does include me. So not as crazy as I was hoping. I did pass it around in a few extra Discords, hoping to get some few more eyes on it. But I really work hard on this stuff, and hopefully you guys can see that. I mean, I was literally standing at my desk for 5 hours working on those videos yesterday, just because I had to put them all together, make all the little graphics and stuff like that. So, I definitely put my heart and soul into it, no matter how many people vote. But I do appreciate the people who do vote, because that makes it much, much more fun. If you did not know, there's a giveaway going on right now! ! Giveaway in the chat. You can win Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle for the Nintendo Switch. You can win that right now. I have the code in my email. ! Giveaway for that. I bought a copy of Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, but I already had a copy of Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, the Gold Edition. so
Welcome to the Ferret Nation, soldier.
Hey, thank you for the follow, Melly. Thank you so much, Melly Streams. Appreciate the follow. Welcome in to the Ferret Nation. All right, so we're going to move on to the next part of the podcast, which is, of course, what I've been playing this past week. And before we move on to specifically what I've been playing...
Welcome to the Ferret Nation, soldier.
Thank you for the follow, Dash. Thank you so much, Dash, for the follow. Appreciate that. So... boom, we're going to finish up the tier list for streaming this year. We're not going to be playing any, we're not going to be finishing any games on Saturday. I know Saturday is still technically December, okay? But I'm not going to be finishing Ghost of Tsushima or whatever game gets voted on in one day. So, whatever. We're going to finish up the tier list here. I post this every so often in my Discord just to kind of show you my general vibe of the games we've been playing. We had a lot more D tier games than last year. Not as many F tier games, thank goodness. Every year you always get like a good conglomerate of C tier games, and the games that really stick out show in the other areas as well. So we're gonna finish. We're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna put our games on our list. I'll talk about the games, and we'll decide where they go. Welcome in, C Fuzzy Man. Yes, if anyone else wants to join the giveaway right now, I think we only got 2 people in it. ! Giveaway to win Kingdom Battle for the Switch. All right, first up, we have Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. We played this during Bunger Month. It started out a little bit rough, and there was a pretty rough, pretty rough segment. But once we kind of got down the combat, realized that it was very similar to Return of the King. It really started to click with me, and I did end up really liking it. I like how there's like an alternate ending as well at the end. You can play as Anakin and beat Kenobi. Sorry, Kenobi. I would put that in a B tier. Not amazing, not something that I would say, oh, you gotta go replay that right now, but still a really fun game that I really was growing fond of by the end of it. Obviously, the beginning was like, oh, we're really grinding through this. The Count Dooku boss fight broke me. That was such a tough fight early on. But the rest of the boss fights weren't so bad because we started to learn the game. And that's what counts. That's what matters. It finished strong. There you go. Let's go ahead and move on to Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. This was the official last game of the Donkey Kong Country series. It's a very fun game. A lot of stuff going on. You can swim. I like how there's 3 characters working together with Donkey Kong. You have Funky Kong in there as well that you can use if you want to do baby mode. I would put that in A tier. Graphically, really nice. Still looks really nice. Gameplay is solid. Goes back to that Donkey Kong formula that you know and love. A couple new things added in there. Oh, banana. And yeah, just a fun game in general. I like the boss fights. They were very unique, very fun. So there you go. I should have extended my tier list a little bit because I think we're gonna run out of room. Hydro Thunder. You all know where this is going. We had such a blast with this game. This is another Bunger Month game chosen by our very own Callus. It was a blast. I mean, come on. Is there any other place to put this other than S tier? I mean, come on. Like, it was such a fun game. Yeah, the graphics kind of blow nowadays. You know, the freaking the frame rate on that one course was so bad we almost could not beat the game. But we did it. We got all the bonus craft unlocked. We got all the regular craft. We got through the entire game. It was such a fun experience. I really, really enjoyed my time with it. It's got to go in S tier. There's no other place for it, honestly. It's one of those games that I went into it going, I've played this a few times, but I never really played it, you know? Damn, that's deep. All right, Donkey Kong Country Returns. Ooh, it's a little bit bigger than I thought. That's what she said. So Donkey Kong Country Returns is the Wii game. Obviously, I talked about it before on the podcast, as with everything else. Not bad. Not bad at all. You know, I went into it with the expectation that it was going to be such a difficult game, and oh my god, you're never going to be able to get past this because of the reputation that this series has. And I talked about this last week on the podcast. Donkey Kong Country games are not that hard. Maybe you're just all bad at gaming. I don't know. I got through this game pretty easily. We had to restock up on lives on one section, which we got stuck at because of my controller being disconnected every so often while I was playing. You all saw it on stream. I am not lying. But I didn't get stuck. I mean, the final boss fight was a good combination of like, oh, it's kind of tough, kind of hard, but not rage-inducing. I felt like the levels were pretty well designed. I think that Tropical Freeze has a better design altogether. And of course, shaking the controller to roll did get a little bit, a little bit annoying at times. I don't think that it's better than Tropical Freeze, but I also don't think that it's anything worse than anything else we played. So yeah, it's gonna go snugly into B tier. I thought that it was a really fun time. Had a lot of fun with it. You can go back through those streams and see a smile on my face, just like Donkey Kong when he sees a golden banana. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about. Never mind. All right. Whew. The Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie's Revenge. Ooh boy. There are some games that you look at and you go, you have a visceral reaction. You go, ah, God damn. Nightmare Before Christmas was a Bunger Month game, and it was rough. It was rough. We didn't get stuck on it. That's why we finished it. If we had gotten stuck on something and I couldn't progress, We probably would have quit, but I powered through just to see how the official canon, quote unquote, it's been retconned now. The official canon was before it was retconned this past year. Yeah, it was not good. The controls were terrible. The combat was stiff. The songs would play over and over and over again, and I can't put it anywhere below D just because it is playable and it does work. But by golly, it was annoying. It was long. It had confusing level design. It didn't explain some things to you. It was just all around just an annoying experience. If you click anywhere in those VODs, you'll have a 90% chance of hearing "This is Halloween, this is Halloween," or the variant that they rewrote for the game, which was like "Save our town," whatever. It was just such a poorly conceived game, and they reused the songs from the original movie, and then they obscured them by writing their own lyrics to fit the game's narrative. It was annoying as hell, and that's why it's in D tier. D as in dog. Dog doo-doo. Alright, Battalion Wars. Here's one from my childhood. I will admit, the first stream of this was a little bit rough, let's be honest. The second stream was also a little bit rough. The third stream was also a little bit rough, but it's still a good game. It really is. I think for strategy games that we've played on the channel, it does its job really, really well. I can't say that it's like the best game from the GameCube era, but it's got its charm. It does have its issues, don't get me wrong. It is still a fun game, though. Would I put it in B tier, though? I don't know. I think that because of how rough of a time we had early on, I don't think it goes anywhere above a B. But I'm fine with putting it in a B tier. I think that it definitely deserves a B tier. I think that it's good. It's good. And what I'm gonna do right now, because I know I'm gonna, well, I guess we'll see. I'm gonna run out of space, I think, but we'll get to that. We'll cross that road when we get there. Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest. We've crossed that road. I know where this is going already. Actually, no. This is fine, actually. Diddy's Conquest. Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest. This is a game that I never played until this year. And, obviously, when you have that rewind feature on the Nintendo Online service, and you can go back when you mess up, that's obviously going to give you a little bit of a better experience altogether, because you don't have to keep replaying levels over and over and over again to get past it. Plus, you can save anytime you want, so you don't have that as well going against you. Personally, I found this game very enjoyable. The music was great, and I really enjoyed playing as Diddy Kong. He felt completely different from Donkey Kong. I guess the only real problem that I have with Diddy's Conquest is the ending couple of levels were very difficult, and there was no real reason to have Dixie and Diddy be the same character practically. They didn't feel different when you switch between the two. I think Dixie had maybe a bit of a hover time with her hair, but other than that, she just wasn't different. And you're mostly using Diddy Kong through this one. I thought it was really good, though. I thought that they really did a good job. Added some new things in there. That's going snugly into A tier. Fun game. Good times. DK3. Donkey Country 3. Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. Dixie Kong's Double Trouble is fantastic. Okay? It's fan-fucking-tastic, all right? This game, I went into this one with the expectation, because everyone was like, oh, this is the worst Donkey Kong Country game. It's the worst one. There's no redeeming values. I play it and I go, huh? What? Really? Dixie's Double Trouble is bad? I thought the graphics widely improved. The gameplay so much better than the original game. A lot better than Donkey Kong Country 2, because you have Kiddy Kong and you have Dixie Kong, and they feel completely different. They can do different things. This is revolutionary. The level design was also really, really, really fun, and I really liked the final boss fight with the Professor Kremlin or whatever he was. It was different than anything else that the Donkey Kong Country series had done. The mechanical bees, as I think it was Crash McCloud said in the chat, the mechanical bees following along the lore that you killed the king and queen bee, you know, so there's no more bees left. In the level design, all these different bonus stages you can do as well. I mean, come on. How can I not say that this is the best Donkey Kong Country game? The real question is it S tier or is it only games that matter? And you know what I gotta do. It seriously is that good. It seriously is that good. I am shocked that the game is criticized so much. I honestly think that people just have this notion that the game is bad and they kind of just go with it. And they haven't actually played it themselves. That's what I'm starting to think, because when I played the game and I just had a blast with it throughout the whole thing. We barely had to use the rewind feature. When we did use when we did use the rewind feature, I don't think that I couldn't have gotten through the levels. It was fair, it was fun, it had a bit of challenge. There were two very distinct characters who had their very own set of skills. There were plenty of bonus stages to go through, replayability, fun platforming challenges. It's just a great game. And yeah, I think it deserves to be in only games that matter. It's one of those games that I'm going to think back very fondly of. I'll probably replay it a few times. It's definitely my favorite of the Donkey Kong Country series, hands down. And there you go. Moving on. 2, Donkey Kong Country 1, ladies and gentlemen. Boom, 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 boom. Donkey Kong Country 1. I need to extend my tier list a little bit, so give me 1 second while I do that. Essentially what we do here is we go boop, boop, and then we go grab that color, dump it, grab white, make sure we got the right size here, boom. And we're just going to extend it a little bit there. Ooh, that's wrong. Hello? Oh, why isn't my undo working? Control Z. Oh, Control Z. My bad. No. Step backwards. Control Alt Z. Did they change that? Control Alt Z? Alright. Well, essentially what I do is I just go, okay, that looks about right. Try and keep it as straight as I can, you know. Doesn't look very straight to me, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I don't think there's really going to be anything. Maybe I should just make a new template where it's just longer in general. All right, good enough. Good enough for the podcast. Donkey Kong Country, undo that, please. Donkey Kong Country, it's just a generally good game. Am I going crazy here? There we go. It's just generally a good game. You know, you're going to either love it or hate it, which I hope that most people love it. It is a very good starting point for the series, but as we played through the series more and more, I found myself going, okay, it's not as good as Diddy's Conquest. Okay, it's not as good as Dixie's Double Treble. Okay, it's not as good as Tropical Freeze. It's about on the same level as Donkey Kong Country Returns. I don't know. It's the first game in the series. It's fun. The level design is good. Music is classic. Yeah, it's just good. In general, it's just good. Can't really say anything more than that. Just a good game in general. Oh my gosh, I didn't even finish the lines. Well, we'll see if we need them. Next up, Donkey Kong Jr. This was just a little shit post that we did at the end of the Donkey Kong Country 3 stream, because because we had time, and I was like, oh, well, I want to play something Donkey Kong related, but I don't want to dive into, something else, Donkey Kong Jr., I mean, it's an arcade game. It's not that bad. I think that they changed the formula a lot, where you have to save Donkey Kong, and you're playing as Donkey Kong Jr. and you're going up the vines. It was a fun time. There was a couple of like cool ideas in there, but it's not like anything groundbreaking by any standard. It's just fine. What are you gonna do? I liked it. It was good enough. But it's not anything that I would go back and replay, especially because the levels don't start to get hard until you've gone through it like 20 times, So that's going in C tier, as in cat. All right, Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. Ooh, let's go. We did. This was the last game that we finished on stream this year. Thank you. It was the last game that we finished on stream this year. Surprisingly good. Surprisingly good. You use the bongos. You jump around. You do your thing. Not very good in terms of controls. It actually works way better with the bongos than I expected. But the bongo sensor picks up your voice, picks up when you move them. So, sometimes you'll be clappy when you don't mean to. And me, I like to talk while I play games. Not a good combination, let's be honest. The control scheme worked, though. It worked well enough. I mean, the level design got pretty challenging towards the end, but, it's funny. We were using the GameCube controller, and we were struggling on those final, 3 levels. And I went back and we played them with the DK bongos. We did perfectly fine. Just goes to show that the peripheral worked, and it did its job, but the game is not anything incredible. It's just it'll be a fond memory, but nothing more. And that's why it's going into C tier. Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. Which I would say, this is like the unofficial Donkey Kong Country game. They didn't use the Donkey Kong Country monkeyer. No pun intended. But it technically is a Donkey Kong Country game. It's a side-scrolling platformer with good music and Donkey Kong. That's all you need. All right, we're getting close. Limbo, the last game that we streamed for Halloween, our Halloween streams. This game replaced a different one that we were playing that I was not vibing with, which was... I forget. Well, we played it. And, I think Limbo is still a very good experience. I wish it was a little bit longer and did a little bit more with the ideas that it has or had. But it's still really good. The music is really it's very subtle but very well done. Graphically, it's one of those unique games that inspired a lot more after it, and it is a classic in a lot of different ways. I like replaying it every so often. I like doing challenge runs on it. It's a good S tier game. Limbo still S tier in my opinion. Still good. Still great. Definitely worth playing if you haven't played it. It's simple, it's short, it knows what it wants to do, and it does it well. Ratchet and Clank, the original Ratchet and Clank game. This is Ratchet and Clank 1. I'm gonna say it again. It's good. I liked it. It was a good time for the start of the series. It did some things really wrong, but it also did a lot of things really right. And you can see why the series has stuck around for so long. The wacky guns, the funny dialogue, the kind of crazy planets you go to and crazy characters you meet. There's a lot of that charm in this game and throughout the series, of course. And this being the game that started it all, it's still really good. I'm going to put it into a B tier because, like I said, it does do some things very wrong. There were just too many levels. What can I say? There were too many freaking levels that didn't do anything different than the last one. They fixed that in the remake of the game. And it was very stiff control wise. They obviously hadn't really got cracked down on the control scheme and stuff like that. There was some obviously there was some hints of what they were going to do in the future here. But as a general game, it's good. It's B tier. And finally, we have Shadow of Rose. This was actually the last game or DLC we streamed for Halloween. I apologize to all the Yemmy the Ferret stream purists. Shadow of Rose, a lot of people were very impressed with this. I personally was kind of indifferent throughout the whole thing. I felt like it didn't do enough at times, and at times it was just kind of like, I don't know, monotonous, I guess you could say. It's C tier. I don't know what else to say about it. I thought that it was fine, but it wasn't good enough in my opinion. I liked it, but it wasn't worth the money in my opinion. If you want to try it out, go for it. I think the story's pretty good. I think the combat is okay. The other things that happened with this DLC were much better. Adding a third-person mode to Resident Evil Village. Adding in all those new characters for the Mercenaries mode. It was a good send-off for Resident Evil 8, because obviously they're going to be moving on to new things, one of them being Resident Evil 4. It was just fine. It wasn't great. It wasn't amazing. I thought the story was pretty by the numbers. But I thought that the things that they did to change it up were kind of fun, all things considered. Not scary enough either. Not scary enough. And I think that's just a problem with the third-person Resident Evil games is, unless they're like Resident Evil 2 or 1 or, whatever, it's not going to really scare your pants off in the modern age. But yeah, that's our tier list for the year. That is officially our tier list. Lots of fun games played this year. Obviously every year you're going to have a good clump of games that are just kind of like middling C tier, just because they're not like amazing, they're not bad, but they're not good, This year we do have a lot of B tiers, which is nice to see, games that are good, games that kept us interested, kept us going. A fair amount of A tier, games that kind of went above and beyond. S tier games, a good amount of those as well. I always like to see more than 5 games be in the S tier. And this year we also added 2 only games that matter. God of War 2018 was already in that tier, in my mind before playing it, but it just kind of was reinforced. And a surprise, Donkey Kong Country 3. A surprise addition to the only games that matter. D tier games, we started off the year kind of rough. There was a good amount of D tier games kind of in a row, with Mafia and Lego Lord of the Rings and Thief. And then they kind of stretched themselves out as we went along. Some kind of meme games in there too, like Peppa Pig and Jumanji. The Kirk and Hammer was a terrible weapon to use in Bloodborne. I do not recommend that. That's an F tier. Peppa Pig game was bad. Even for a kid's game, it was very bad. And Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. You all what happened. I rage quit on that one. I was done with that after a while. It started off kind of fun, and then it just got really annoying and broken. It was a PS1 game. It needed to be refined a little bit. When we played The Mummy a few years ago now, that felt good. Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase felt terrible, unfortunately. And that's our tier list, people. That's our tier list. We'll go ahead and save that. I'll post it in the Discord here in a minute. Oop. Don't do that. Save as. So yeah, that's our official tier list for the year. We can call this one 2022 Final. Gaboom. And I'm looking forward to streaming more games. Obviously, like I said, we're starting off with Ghost of Tsushima this year. And we're gonna switch it out with a couple games if it wins the vote. It's very far along on the vote, so we will be switching it back and forth with another game as we do for longer titles. And people do want me to kind of switch games out no matter what, so we'll be doing that as well. Right now, it's winning by 2 votes. It's a 2 ahead of the last one, the other game that's on the list. So if you want to vote, go over to the Discord. Always like that. If you want to join the giveaway, ! Giveaway. Okay. You can try and win a game, Kingdom Battle, Mario and Rabbids game. It's free, no charge. For Switch, of course, Nintendo Switch. So let's see, how many games did we beat this year on stream? Because I know the number on my phone of games that I beat in general this year, which was 121 games I beat this year. I smashed last year's record out of the water with just that. We smashed the stream games. We smashed my regular games played. There are games that I wanted to play. Like, I wanted to finish more games. You know, that's the thing. I still have a day or two to maybe finish some more that have been on my backlog, or games that I have started but I didn't finish. Games like Evil West and stuff like that, Ship of Fools and stuff that I've been playing but I haven't finished. You know, there's always a bunch of those kind of games at the end of the year that you're like, oh, I really wish I had finished X, Y, or Z. And that's what kind of happened last year. You know, I was finishing up games like Fist, Forge, and Shadow Torch, Chorus, you know, stuff like that. Games that I had missed. You know, the Bowser's Fury expansion. I didn't play that until this year, and it came out last year. You know, games that, a lot of those games will show up kind of early on in my 2023 list or whatever. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm very happy with how many games we finished this year. A lot of quality games in there as well. Let me just count real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, maybe more like 70 and a half because Shadow Rose is just a DLC. And we also finished the demo disc. So that does equal 1. So yeah, 71 games. 71 games completed because the demo disc for Ratchet and Crank Deadlocked is a half. And Shadow Rose is a half. 71 games completed on stream this year. We'll see if we can beat it next year. It all depends on how good, how fast we get through some of these games. And I'm not playing these games to try and get them done as fast as I can. Completely opposite. I'm playing games at my personal speed. Sometimes I will try and rush things a little bit, especially if I'm not like enjoying a game. But mostly when we go through them, I'm just, I'm playing the game, I'm having fun. What are you gonna do? And if it takes us a little bit longer, whatever. That's just how the rock rolls down the hill. So yeah, I'm gonna post that in the Discord real quick. We can delete that. La-di-dee, la-di-dum. All right, we're going to move on to a review for Little Gator Game, which came out before Callisto Protocol, actually. It came out before Callisto Protocol. Let me just... Final tier list for 2022. And pin. There we go. So let me pull up some gameplay of Little Gator Game so I can talk over it. Yeah, this game came out right around the same time as Callisto Protocol. And don't you wish that I had played that one instead of Callisto Protocol? I would have been so much more happy. Full walkthrough, no commentary. That's what I like to see. Mute that. Open this, the full screen. Just so y'all can see in the background what we're doing here. I'm not actually playing. Oh, look, no hands. No hands. All right, so what is Little Gator Game? I don't know what you mean by which game won S tier. I put the games on the list where I thought they should be. Little Gator Game is a open world adventure game from the same people who did A Short Hike, which is a game that is on my backlog. I do want to play that because after playing this one, I had a lot of fun with it. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This game is full of such charm and joy, and it's just everything that you really want from like a really good kids game. I mean, obviously, if you're an adult, you can also play it as well, like me. But this is also a really good game for a younger audience. Not only does it have a really good story and a good overall message in the game, it's basic enough and things are simple enough that you don't need to really over-explain it, right? You press B to swing your stick, whatever it may be, your sword or whatever. You press A to jump. You press Y to slide on a shield or whatever. You press A again while in the air to glide. Simple things like that. You have some equipables that you can do, like some throwables and stuff like that. And you're just kind of adventuring on this island. There's some objectives and some landmarks to go to that have objectives next to them. And you just kind of go around the island and do your own thing. It's a very fun and enjoyable experience. Very beautiful music in there as well. I liked meeting all the different characters on the island and becoming friends with them, doing little quests for them. Sometimes they weren't even that big of quests. You fought like the 3 monsters around them, and then they joined your friendship or whatever. But let me explain the story a little bit more, because I felt like the game was very strong in that aspect. Essentially, you start the game and you're just trying to play a game with your older sister who moved on to college and is kind of doing her own thing. She's a freshman in college or whatever. And essentially you're trying to relive those memories of when you were both kids and you were playing this game that she made where, she made cardboard cutouts and drew monsters on them, and you climbed rocks and did all this stuff with your sister essentially. It's a story that a lot of people can relate to, whether it be an older brother or older sister, maybe even a cousin or something like that. The age difference between me and my sister is quite a lot. And when I was a kid, I didn't have a lot of years to just outright play with my sister, right? And there was that time in my life where my sister just didn't want to play with me anymore, right? And that's tough on any kid, honestly. And it's just life. She grew up, I was still a kid. I learned how to play by myself in no time with my cars and stuff like that. But it's a story that this game tackles, and it tackles it very well. You start off, you're kind of doing your own thing, trying to show your sister how fun it is to play with you again. You're fighting your little cardboard monsters. There's really no threat in this game at all. You don't have a health bar. The only thing you have is a stamina meter when trying to climb things. But essentially, throughout the entire game, you're just collecting doodads and knickknacks to help you just have fun, honestly. The weapons really don't make a difference, but they're fun to use. You got like a paintbrush, and when you swing with the paintbrush, it makes different color marks. There's a pencil you can get that makes little pencil marks on things when you hit them. There's a wrench that does like extra damage to the bigger cardboard monster, so it takes only like 1 or 2 hits instead of 3. There's some goofy ones like the magic wand that makes noise when you wave it around. The shields are also very varied. You have like a chessboard that makes chess sounds when you slide on it. There's a tin can that makes tin can noises when you slide on it. There's a little inflatable thing that lets you kind of skip across water easier. It's called the Tower Shield, which is kind of like a Dark Souls reference. It's big, it's sturdy, it doesn't go as fast when you slide on it. There's just a whole bunch of really fun little costumes and stuff to wear too. Like, you can put different hats on the character, like a beret, or there's like a Legend of Zelda kind of like Link hat that is brown instead of green that kind of goes off of your head. This game is very much inspired by like Legend of Zelda. It has the glide ability where you just kind of puff up a big shirt and you glide around, right? It has the sliding ability, and it has like general sword play and shield play. It's very much inspired by the more complicated and bigger adventures like Legend of Zelda. But it definitely does its own thing. It's definitely its own game, and I love everything about this game, really. I 100%ed the game because it's just so much fun. You play this little gator, you go around the island searching for whatever, you're kind of doing whatever. You run into different people, you befriend them, you do their little quest. Maybe you need to find them, or maybe you need to do this or that. They become your friend, they join your, they show up in the main hub area, which is on the, it's like in the middle of the island where like the picnic tables are and stuff like that. And the landmarks are really easy to spot too. They give you a general idea of like where you need to go. So you go up high onto a mountain or something like that, and you see a windmill in the background. You go to that, there's someone there to talk to. You see like a big mountain with like speakers and stuff on it. That's the amphitheater. You go up there, there's people to talk to, major quests to do. There's a giant tree with a tree house. You go over there, and there's a lot of different characters just kind of littered around everywhere too. So, you walk over to, a random character and they'll be like, hey, I lost something and I need to go find it, and they're standing next to a waterfall and you go, oh, okay, it's probably at the bottom of the waterfall. And yep, okay, there you go. You found the shark's retainer at the bottom of the waterfall, There's just a lot of fun and charming things about this game. How the gator walks. He walks kind of like a toddler almost. Very stiff at times, but just a very fun walking animation. The graphics in the game definitely reminds you of a short hike. It's not as cartoonish, but you can definitely tell where the style comes from. It comes from the same studio. You can definitely tell that just by looking at it. You don't even need to know that's made by the same team that did that to kind of be like, oh, kind of the graphics kind of remind me of a short hike. Read Callus's review on the website, thepixels.com. And yeah, I mean, I really don't know what else to say because I think in general it's just a very fun, enjoyable, relaxing experience. There's nothing super difficult to do in the game. There's nothing that you'll never it's not like you're never going to find all the cardboard cutouts. It's not like you're never going to find every character. After you beat the main story, they even give you little doodads that are kind of like, hey, text me and I'll show you where the nearest pot is or whatever, where the nearest cardboard monster is. Or, you get a megaphone that you call out to people and they go, I'm over here, and you go towards them, and it's such a charming game. It has a very down to earth story to it, and the ending of the game is also just very. It's a really nice ending that kind of just really hammers in the message of the game, of like growing up and having to accept that, hey, big sis or big brother, they're not going to want to play with you forever. My headset just powered down, so I need to plug it in. It's probably out of battery. I forgot to charge it last night. It's something that I need to start remembering to do because, it's not something that I used to have to do with my other headset. So, sometimes I gotta plug it in still and charge it up a little bit. But yeah, if you haven't bought the game yet, or if you don't know what this game is, it's definitely a full recommend from me. I'm a 29-year-old adult, and I found this game extremely fun. And I would say if you're a fan of open world kind of exploration games that have like a cute very good soundtrack, a cute style to it, fun characters to meet, a good story, yeah, this is one for you. Like I said, it's got some Legend of Zelda vibes in there. It's got its own thing going on too. There's a lot of fun little doodads to find and use, and yeah, it's just all in all, it's a game that just kind of makes me smile, and I just really I just really liked it. It was a fun 4 to 5 hour playthrough. It didn't take too long, and it definitely did the best that it could with its time, and that's why I'm saying right now, huge tip here. I unlocked my top 10 list and I took a game off of it and put this game on there. And that is the biggest tip you'll ever get from me. It's definitely going to be on my list because it came out before Callisto Protocol, and that technically makes it eligible to be on my top 10 list. Just because I didn't play it until now does not mean that it can't be on there. It is technically eligible to be on the list, and that is why, if you are in the Game of the Year competition, wink wink, nudge nudge, get your top 10 lists in, edit them, and put this game on there. It might not be very high, but it definitely replaced one of the games that was on my list that I was thinking, yeah, this game is definitely better than that game. But anyway, if you have not played Little Gator Game, grab it, play it. Honestly, play it. It's so cute. It's so fun. And I just have nothing but praise for it, honestly. So yeah, it's on all platforms too. So, it's not like, ooh, I can't play it on Switch. No, you can play it on Switch. Ooh, I can't play it on Steam Deck. You can play it on Steam Deck. Ooh, I can't play it on PlayStation. It's on PlayStation. And it's a fun 100% too. It's not arduous. It's not anything difficult. There's some fun things you can do. It was a fun 100% as well. So that's another really big thing for it. Other than that, we didn't really. I didn't really play any other games this week. I started to try and finish some that I've been working on, like Frog Gun and stuff like that. I did end up finishing Metal Hellsinger. I thought the game was good. Obviously, the soundtrack is killer, but I felt like there wasn't enough variety in the enemies and the bosses. The bosses were pretty much all the same, except for the final boss, of course. And the enemy types really did not get much variance while going through the game. So unfortunately, Metal Hellsinger, it's kind of like it's like a very high 3.5 out of 5, right? It's almost there. It's like, it could be a good game if they just maybe made it a little bit longer, maybe put a little bit more time into putting more enemy variety in there and making the bosses different. That's one thing about games that really grinds my gears, is when you're just fighting the same boss over and over again. Elden Ring, but yeah, Metal Hellsinger, it's fun. It's worth a playthrough. It's on Xbox Game Pass. There's no better time to play it than now, and it's worth playing through. If you're a fan of Doom or Wolfenstein or rhythm games, you're gonna like this game because it is a good game. It falls short in some key areas for me, and that's unfortunate. Sorry. And then of course we beat Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, which is the last game we're finishing on stream this year. And I've already kind of talked about it before. It's fun. It's fine. It doesn't do anything super good, but it also doesn't do anything super bad. The bongo peripheral works. You use the bongos to move left and right. You clap to collect bananas and kill enemies around you, and you hit both the bongos at the same time to jump. I thought that it was fun. And using the GameCube controller was actually a detriment to the gameplay experience. Using the bongos was actually worth it. It was actually worth it to use the bongos. Crazy enough, they're right over there behind Stitch. Stitch, everyone. Santa Stitch, everyone. Santa Stitch. But yeah, it's not like it's really that great, though. Jungle Beat was one of those games that I was like, if we finish it, we finish it. If we don't get angry. I am glad that I went back to using bongos, though, because the bongos were the lifesaver of the game. If the bongos weren't a part of this game and it was just moving the joystick left to go left and tapping it to go left and tapping it to go right and stuff like that, we would have stopped playing it a while ago. But the bongo peripheral actually worked, and very surprising. I know, very surprising. The bongo peripheral actually better than the normal. Than the normal experience. What can you say? What can you say? So that's that. All right. Before we move on to the news, I just wanted to go through all the games in 2023 that I'm interested in or excited about, so that maybe you can add them to your excitement list. I don't want to talk in depth about all of these, so I'm just going to go through them real quickly. Obviously, one of the first games this year, Dead Space Remake. That's a game that's obviously, Dead Space 1 is like one of my favorite games. One of my favorite trilogies is Dead Space, so seeing what they do to that game is going to be really interesting. From what I've seen, it looks like they've improved the game a lot, so very excited about that. SpongeBob: The Cosmic Shake, already have that pre-ordered, and they actually accepted. They haven't refunded my $20 order for the game. I guess the sale was legitimate. So, hey, we're getting a brand new game that's supposed to be like $40 or $50 for $20. That's not bad at all. So whether it's good or bad, it doesn't matter. Forspoken just looks interesting. I still don't know if I'm going to play that game, but I definitely still want to play the demo. Hogwarts Legacy, kind of the same thing. I'm not a huge Harry Potter nut. I watched half the movies when I was a kid and then fell off of them. So I'm not like a huge Harry Potter fan. It does look very interesting, though. That game called Blank, where it's kind of black and white. One person's a doe, one person's a fox. Looks cool. Atomic Heart, crazy looking game. First person shooter. It's going to be on Game Pass. It's definitely going to be a day one play for me. Like a Dragon Ishin, apparently it's a remake of an older game in the Yakuza series. They're not calling it Yakuza anymore. They're calling it Like a Dragon now. Looks interesting. Swords, guns, all that stuff. Fun time. Blood Bowl 3. Just a take on football that you don't really see too often, like a turn-based strategy game. Blood Bowl 3 is looking pretty good, looking definitely better than 2. The PlayStation VR 2 and Call of the Mountain. I'm getting those supposed to be day one. They're going to deliver it in February. I'm very excited to see what PlayStation does with VR, and this looks like a much better headset than the first iteration, the original PSVR. So I'm very excited to try that out and get going on that. Wo Long Fallen Dynasty, open world Souls-like game. I played the demo this past year. Was good. I enjoyed that. Definitely will be buying the full version. Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones. I'm not sure if I'm excited or I'm just morbidly curious about that game at this point. It suffered another delay after it was like only a couple. It was like a month away from being released, and they were like, "Okay, hold on, we gotta retool this," which might be a good thing, might be a bad thing. I don't know. Wo Long will also be on Game Pass. Oh yes, it will. That's right. I do want to play it on PS5 though. Jedi Survivor, of course, one of the top games on this list. Very excited about Jedi Survivor. It's looking really good. I'm hoping that it's going to be better than, than the first game. The first game is really good, don't get me wrong, but it's rough. It's got a lot of bugs. It's got a lot of glitches. So hopefully they fine-tune it and they get it going. Hopefully they get it going and looking good. So yeah, what's next on the list here? Dead Island 2. It's been so long, but I'm so excited for this game. It suffered a big setback, a delay as well. But honestly, I'm just happy that it's gotten a re-reveal and it's supposedly coming out relatively soon, right around my birthday. So that'll be fun to play that. I'm really excited for that. We haven't gotten a good zombie game since Dying Light, There really hasn't been like a really good punch him in the face, gory zombie game. And it looks like Dead Island 2 is doing just that. It's gory. You're slicing limbs and heads off of zombies. The gore factor. Like there's that one zombie that's like practically a skeleton and its jaw is hanging off of its mouth. And I don't think that's just like a cutscene thing. I think that's just throughout the game is like all these different zombies in different states of repair, I guess you could say. You can say I'm very excited for that. Resident Evil 4 Remake. I've played Resident Evil 4 many, many times. The most unique version of that was the VR version so far. And now we're going to be getting a full remake. I'm very interested to see what they do to that to bring it up to modern day standards, I guess. Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. I don't know if I'm excited for that, but I am interested to see that iteration of the DC universe. I'm sorry, folks. I'm not super excited for Tears of the Kingdom. Maybe it's because I have played through Breath of the Wild. Maybe I'll do that this year before the game comes out. We'll see. Maybe Callus should have picked that for his Twitch sub vote. Street Fighter 6. I'm excited for it. I think it looks good. I think it looks way better than Street Fighter 5, which was a big disappointment in my eyes. Final Fantasy 16. I'm actually looking forward to that. I think that it's going to be one of those Final Fantasy games that clicks with me, honestly, from what we've seen so far. So I'm looking forward to seeing more about that. Alan Wake 2, if it does come out this year. I don't think it is, actually, but if it does, it should be a good time. I liked the original Alan Wake. I have to replay the remaster, though. Assassin's Creed Mirage. I'm very interested to see the game series going back to its bread and butter, which is, more straightforward story missions, a bit less of an open world, but I'm excited because the newer games, as I said before, Odyssey, Origins, Valhalla, they're just too big for me, honestly. I don't have the time to sink into these games unless I'm streaming them. So hopefully this shorter version of the game will be good. Angerfoot. This is a game by Devolver Digital. Looks really fun. You kick doors, you shoot people. What else do you want? The Killer Clowns from Outer Space game. I don't know if I'm going to vibe with it, but I am interested to see more about that. Marvel's Spider-Man 2, one of the games that I really want to play this year as well, because the first game is so good. It was number 2 on the list the year that it came out, but God of War 2018 beat it out by just a little bit. Metal Slug Tactics, it was announced back in 2019 and got delayed and delayed and delayed. Still very interested in that. I love the art style. It's keeping it in line with the Metal Slug series. And you know me, I'm a big fan of Metal Slug. The first game was was the first game I played and got me into gaming. So, anything Metal Slug is gonna be on my list. Remnant from the Ashes 2, or it's just called Remnant 2. Shooter Souls game. I love the first game. Can't wait for this one. Stalker 2, whenever that comes out. Looks really good. We have actually an article about that later in the news section. Starfield, looking like a really fantastic open world space adventure, sci-fi adventure. First game that has pretty much been completely made under the Xbox banner, so we'll see how that goes. The Lords of the Fallen, I'm interested to see what they're going to do with this series, because it is a series now, and the first game was so bad, there's only one way they can go. Up. And finally, the Wolf Among Us 2. Pretty much all the rest of those games since Stalker were unconfirmed release dates. But Wolf Among Us 2, I mean, I love the Wolf Among Us 1, so, whatever. And here are my top 10. Here are my top 10 most excited for games this year. At number 10, it's the PlayStation VR 2. I'm excited to see what they do with that. At number 9, Assassin's Creed Mirage, going back to the old formula that I love and know. Number 8, Atomic Heart. Looks like a really crazy first-person shooter. Very excited for that. Number 7, the Dead Space remake. It's looking cool. It's looking sweet. It's looking like it's going to be a really good remake. Wolong Fallen Dynasty at number 6. Looks like a really good Souls game. Team Ninja on the top of their game. Number 5, Remnant 2. Hopefully it comes out this year. Next year. It's still next year at this point. I'm very excited to see more about that. Hopefully they do the same thing with the bosses where they're mixed up between playthroughs. At number 4, it's the Resident Evil 4 remake. I didn't do that on purpose, I swear. At number 3, The Wolf Among Us 2, if it comes out this year. If it doesn't, replace that with Marvel's Spider-Man. Number 2, Star Wars Survivor. Very hyped. Big fan of Star Wars. Not the sequels, but a big fan of everything else. And at number 1... Dead Island 2, baby. I am so excited. Whether it's a train wreck or the best game ever created, I'm very excited for that. Why didn't the clap go off? Huh? Where's my clapping? You heard I didn't hear the clap. Oh, you know what? My headset's still off. My headset's still turned off. There it goes. Oops. Yeah, okay, yeah. My headset was turned off. Fun times. All right, so that's what I've been playing this past week. That was a pretty good segment. I'd give it at least a 7 out of 10.
You stupid noob!
All right, let's move on to the news. What's in the news this week? Bum, 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 bum. If you want to join the giveaway, exclamation point giveaway. Exclamation point giveaway. If you want to win a copy of Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, put that in right now. You have to be in the stream at the end of the stream in order to get the game. If you are not here, unfortunately, I will not be able to give it to you. So make sure you are here for the end of the stream when we do the giveaway. All right, what am I at? News. What's in the news? And we're actually going to combine this with the coming soon thing as well, because there's not really that much going on. It's the end of December and the beginning of January. We're not going to have a lot of stuff going on. But what is going on is kind of interesting, I guess. The Last Guardian and the Shadow of the Colossus developers are aiming for an announcement in 2023. I thought that would be kind of interesting to someone. So essentially, the developers behind those two games, they are seemingly making they're in the development of a new game, and they're almost ready to announce that game. What it will be, who knows? Will it be the Last Guardian 2? Will it be Shadow of the Colossus 2? Will it be a completely new IP like they've done in the past between Ico, Shadow of Colossus, and The Last Guardian? I'm sure it'll have the same gameplay flair and style as the other games, but so far, we haven't heard anything about another game in the series from this developer, but they are planning on doing an announcement this year. Who knows when it will be? Whether it's going to be all the way in E3 time, Game Awards time. Will it be earlier than that? Who knows? But as of right now, the developer is aiming for an announcement this year. So there you go. Hey, Metal Gear Solid is also gearing up for some sort of an announcement from Konami. Let me just warn you all. Hideo Kojima is not behind Metal Gear Solid anymore. And just so you know, whatever comes out of Metal Gear Solid from this point on, unless they specifically say Hideo Kojima is working with us on this one, be warned. Because the last Metal Gear Solid game, Metal Gear Solid Survive, was the worst game of that year by far. And it really shat on the legacy that Hideo Kojima had built up for the Metal Gear Solid games. Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain was one of the best games that came out the year prior. And then when Hideo Kojima left the company, Konami said, we own this IP, we're going to do whatever we want. And they angered an entire fan base. But supposedly Metal Gear Solid is going to have an announcement this year. Something Metal Gear Solid is going to happen from Konami in 2023. As quoted from the producer, they said 2023 is going to be a year with many announcements, including a long-awaited reveal from the company. Hideo Kojima also said that he's going to be working with Xbox on a new project. Maybe Konami and Xbox are teaming up, and he is joining to be a producer or whatever on the game. Who knows? Or on games. Could be some spin-offs in there. But yeah, so far, I mean, we haven't had anything Metal Gear Solid related since since Survivors at this point. So we'll see what they have to offer. Maybe it'll be a remaster or a collection of the original games being re-released for newer consoles. The last time that happened was on the PS3, and I have that. It has the first game, the second game, the third game, the fourth game, all in one nice little bundle. So maybe they'll re-release that with the other games as well, the Phantom Pain, and the kind of mini game that came out as well. I forget what it was called at this point. Maybe some in the chat will say. All right. Speaking of games that we haven't seen in a while, the Billy Hatcher producer says that he would love to do something with the Billy Hatcher series. Billy Hatcher, not Biller. What did I say? Billy Hatcher. Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg came out in 2003 on the GameCube. It was a new IP. I never played it myself, but I do know that a lot of people really loved the game. But the producer on the game said, someday I would like to make a new adventure if possible. And people actually found some unused game footage, and the producer also came out and said that this was supposed to be a place on the map called Giant Palace. And he posted a little screenshot of what the layout would have been like from the top. Billy Hatcher, GameCube, stuck on the GameCube at this point. I don't think there was any other games in the Billy Hatcher series, honestly. It was a 3D platformer. I might pick it up sometime just to kind of play through it, because it is one of those games that I should have played when I was in the age bracket for the GameCube. But, obviously I didn't have any money because I was a child. So, I never got to play that. And I was very much starting to get into first-person shooters by the time the GameCube came around. Call of Duty Finest Hour, Call of Duty in general, Medal of Honor, stuff like that. Those are the kind of games that I was kind of starting to lean towards on the GameCube. So, it's not really that surprising that I never played Billy Hatcher. But I digress. I would like to play it eventually someday if it's cheap enough. All right, so Stalker 2 had a big gameplay. Maybe not. I don't even know if it's a gameplay reveal trailer. But essentially, they posted this trailer on YouTube. IGN is where we're getting this gameplay footage from. Had a little bit of story elements in there. Had a little bit of gameplay, I suppose. It seems like some sort of, cult is in this game. They tapped into the Earth's, supernova power source or whatever. And essentially what this game is advertised right now to be is an open world game where you can kind of go and do whatever you want, go to different areas, explore at your own speed. And there is an overarching story that you're following, but it's not going to be like one of those games that's linear like the old games used to be. It's very much going to be kind of like a do your own adventure kind of thing, or make your own adventure kind of thing. The gameplay looks sharp, and the game looks sharp, and it's crazy that the developers are developing this game freaking in a bunker practically. They're in a bomb shelter making this game because of the war in the Ukraine right now. They're literally in a bunker with their laptops designing and building this game, and what we've seen so far has been very impressive. We haven't seen a Stalker game since, like, I don't know, the early 2000s. I have the bundle on Steam, and I think the latest release was like 2005 or something like that. So this series has come a long way since its original games, and it's looking very, very impressive. And like I said, it's even more impressive that this company, the studio, is designing this game from the inside of a bomb shelter. Very, very impressive looking so far. I'm very excited for whenever they decide that they want to release the game. I'm very excited to try it out. It is going to be day one on Xbox Game Pass. And as you see here at the end of the trailer, it says 2023. The pre-orders for the game are actually now open, so if you want to try that out. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a very crazy kind of game. This is one of the two crazy first-person shooters coming out. You have this game, and then you also have Atomic Heart, which looks even crazier. But I remember seeing the two trailers side by side and going, both these games look insane, and I'm very excited to play them. Stalker has more of a Metro style to it, where Atomic Heart has more of a Wolfenstein style, I would say. Also, a game called Onion Assault is coming out. It's coming soon. Let's see if it says exactly when. Onion Assault. It's supposed to be arriving on the Switch eShop on the 26th of January, so it looks like it's going to be a Switch exclusive. The funny thing is, with it being a Switch exclusive, take a look at this gameplay. Doesn't it look very Mario 2-esque? That's right, they're channeling Mario 2. So instead of like jumping on enemies and killing them, you jump on the smaller enemies and you use them to throw at the bigger enemies. Or, you know, you can also pick up bigger enemies as well. It has a very blocky style to it. It kind of reminds me of like I don't know, Minecraft at times, but it's got like a cell shaded graphic style. I was listening to the music earlier. It does have a good soundtrack to it. I think that if you're a fan of Mario Brothers 2, this might be one that you wanna look out for. It looks like they did a great job of kind of giving it that style, but also kind of keeping it unique and being its own thing. So, Onion Assault is coming January 26th for about $8 on the Switch eShop if you want to check that out. I don't believe it's on any other platform right now. I believe it's only going to be on Switch. I can double check that afterwards, but that's that. All right, the PlayStation Plus games for January have been announced. You probably already know what they are if you're a part of the Discord. But we got Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Axiom Verge 2, and Fallout 76. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, it's the PS4 and the PS5 version. The PS5 version, I believe, has better graphic fidelity, but they did not fix the glitches or anything like that with the game. But it's still a great game. You should definitely play through it. If you're trying to get into Souls games, this is a good starting point, honestly. It really is. It's a Star Wars game. It's not that difficult, but it has enough Souls-like elements that make you go, okay, it is a bit difficult, and this is kind of like a nice way to get into Souls games because it's not grueling. It's not as difficult as maybe like a Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, etc. Axiom Verge 2 is the sequel to Axiom Verge. Who would have guessed? It's a Metroidvania. It's very much inspired by Metroid. The first game for sure, definitely. I have not played the first game. I've only watched people play it. But, you know, it looks fine. It looks fun. It definitely is channeling that Super Metroid feel to it. And I believe Axiom Verge kind of does the same thing. And then, of course, Fallout 76, which is a terrible deal. It's practically free to play everywhere else. I don't know why they're giving it away for free, quote unquote. You know, it's free to play on Xbox Game Pass. I think it's only worth like $10 now on the store. It's a free to play. It's not free to play. It's an open world adventure game in the Fallout universe. It's gotten a lot of updates since it came out. So you could say that, yeah, maybe it is better now. Maybe it is worth playing now. And maybe that's what the developers are thinking. Maybe that's what, you know, what Bethesda's thinking. Like, hey, we'll release it for free. People will see it's better. Am I willing to give it a second chance? Yeah, it's been on my replay list for a while, but am I willing to give it a second chance now? Maybe not. Well, maybe once it gets voted on in the Discord. But if you want to check out those games, they'll be available to play the first Tuesday of January, which won't be that long from now. Tuesday is, what, the 3rd or something? Yeah, the 3rd, so... Also, make sure you sign up for that rewards program, the Stars Rewards program or whatever it is. I've already earned 3 3 little figurines. Just by logging into my PlayStation and starting one game, I earned 3 figures, which are kind of funny, kind of cool. And finally for today, here's your games with gold for January. We have Iris Fall, which is going to be available to play between the 1st and 31st of January. Autonauts, which will be available to play January 16th through the 15th of February. And those are the only 2. If you're still paying for games with gold, why? Honestly, after they took away the 360 games and they're starting to take away your Xbox One games, is it really worth it for a couple of 2D side-scrolling indie games? I don't know. That's up to you to decide. Just go with Xbox Game Pass. Who cares about games with gold? They should just discontinue games with gold, honestly. Is that a hot take? I don't know. All right, we are going to go ahead and do the drawing for the giveaway. If you want to be a part of the giveaway, make sure you do !giveaway. Also, make sure that you are currently in the chat so that you can get your game. Let's go ahead and open up the giveaway tab. There's only 2 people in here, folks. There's only 2 people in here. If you do !giveaway right now, you have a 1 in 3 chance of winning the game. That's right. I'm going to close it. I'm going to do it. This is a podcast. I don't have time to fuck around. I'm going to do it. 3, 2, 1. Closing the giveaway, and we're going to pick a winner. Just Me -V. You have won Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Please speak up in chat so that I may give you the game. Please speak up in chat. Just Me -V. Please. You have won the game. If you don't speak up in the next 30 seconds, I will have to redraw, and there's only one other person on this list. This is a great deal. A whole game for free. Don't make me beg. What else? This is the end of the podcast, folks. Thank you so much for joining in, having some fun. Always appreciate everyone coming by for streams. We are going to be live tomorrow, Saturday, playing Ghost of Tsushima. I'm going to call it right now as I look at it here. Ghost of Tsushima has 6 votes now, and I am playing the Director's Cut version on the PS5. I spent the extra money to do the Director's Cut version since I haven't played Ghost of Tsushima since I beat it a long time ago, back in, when was it, 2019, 2018, 2019, right? So it'll be kind of like a fresh experience doing the Director's Cut, I suppose. But yeah, I'm probably going to close that poll right after the podcast here and put up another one for a game to switch out on Monday, just because it's a longer game, you know? Alright, Just Me Dash. Unfortunately, you have lost your chance to get the game. Ooh, look at that. See Fuzzy Man, speak up in chat. You have won the game. You have stolen the game. There we are. See Fuzzy Man gets the game. I will go ahead and DM you that on Discord. You got Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, the first of 2 games from the Mario and Rabbids series. I did play a little bit of the new Mario and Rabbids game, the Sparks of Hope. I don't know. I do have a problem with these kind of games where, you know, you're doing fine, you're on a roll, and then randomly they'll up the difficulty. Like, I ran into like a boss or something like that, like very early on in the game, and like he can move when you attack him. It's like, what? I'm like an hour into the game and you're doing this crazy shit to me? I don't get it. I'm trying to find the email. Thank you. That's PlayStation. Maybe it's in here somewhere. Maybe it's on my other Gmail. I know I didn't delete it because I originally deleted it, and then I was like, "Oops, that's the code for the game." All right, I'll send that. I'll send that to you after the stream's done on Discord. I'll send that to you after the stream on Discord. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone. I will see you all tomorrow for Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of My Tushy, as Callus would call it. We'll start that up. It should be a pretty long playthrough. I'm expecting 10 to 15 streams. It is that long of a game, and I am one of those people who likes to kind of go to every point of interest on a map. So be in it for the long haul, folks. Be in it for the long haul. Maybe early on I'll kind of sprint to like main story beats to start off, just to kind of get things rolling. But I definitely will be playing that game as I would do normally. And then who knows what other game we'll be playing at the same time. We'll be swapping out another game. I'll probably put that poll up, like I said, either later today or tomorrow, just so you can vote on that. We'll see what we start playing as well. But yeah, thank you for joining the podcast today. If you want to follow the podcast, link is down below in the About section. There's a link. If you click on the image, it'll take you right to my Spotify, Ferret64. I do it weekly. Rain, snow, sleet. I'm like the damn post office, except when they don't plow your driveway or your road. I get you the podcast. I get you the video game news and occurrences and reviews every week, every Saturday or Sunday, depending. If you want to check out the other podcasts I do, Film Freaks with a Z is one of those podcasts, my friends. Recent episode uploaded today, actually, where we talked about Grand Budapest Hotel, one of my favorite movies. We had a really fun conversation. You'll be shocked at the outcome at the end of the day. But yeah, and the last episode before that was Dune with General Kenobi. We talked about Dune, the newest Dune movie. I kind of schooled them in some lore stuff as well. Other than that, I haven't really been working on Fubar Ferret, so I don't recommend following that right now. But I'm going to get back on it when the football season is over. That's kind of the main thing right there. The football season has kind of, overtaken the Fubar Ferret right now. So after that's done, we'll get back to that, or I should get back to that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode of Ferret64. Thank you so much if you joined in on the live stream here. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I hope you all enjoyed. I do work very hard on these podcasts. I'm not just throwing news together and just reading articles. It's always my personal input. It's always my personal experience. So if you like that, I would really appreciate following. If you can, please rate the podcast on Spotify. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Make sure you interact with the little polls that I do sometimes on these episodes as well. They're down below on the Spotify page for the episode. So yeah, that's all I got for today. I'm going to run the closing music, and then we're also going to run the close in general. So if you want to join in on that, I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, let's go ahead and see if there's anyone who we want to raid today. Let's see here. Odom is playing Blue Fire. Ooh, Briar LaCroix is live. I think we're going to go ahead and raid Briar. He's live. He's playing Bind and Vizak. I haven't seen Briar in a minute. Let's go ahead and raid Briar. Boom. If you want to join in on that raid, copy and paste the message there. I would greatly appreciate that. If you got a raid and run, that's no problem at all. As long as you post that little doodad right there. All right, y'all. I'm Yemmy the Ferret. I will see you guys in the next episode and the next live stream. Bye-bye.
The Ferret64 podcast is owned and edited by Yemmy the Ferret. The song Nightshade, used in the intro and outro, is owned by Adhesive Wombat. Small sound clips during the podcast were made by Yemmy the Ferret. News sources include NintendoLife.com, PushSquare.com, and PureXbox.com. All opinions video game related are my own. Thank you for listening.